Hello everybody and welcome back to the Hilltop Pillbox in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. We have just completed the first round of Axis and Allies Global War 1939, and a lot has gone on here. We've already covered what the Germans had done, so we don't need to hear from those guys anymore. Is that most unfortunate? Yeah, not for us. Russia. You got a few things to do here. Ivan, can you walk us through it?
It was nothing. We took over East Poland with a few troops. This is not a problem. The Baltic states also fall. And we also wanted to test our troops in Finland.
I see you took Viborg there and are poised to go into Helsinki perhaps. Not really sure if you want to do that maybe this early, but hey, who knows, huh?
I know.
Okay. I see you also built 5 men in the Krylia factory. So it looks like you are putting a little pressure up north, and you do have a nice little fleet there, but the Germans have their fleet. Yeah, is that the... Shut up, will ya? Please? Just give it a break. Good grief, Klaus.
Yeah, he is most annoying, I think. We also moved things around a little bit. We had the men from Novosibirsk move west towards Moscow, and we had our tanks move east. They're headed over here in case the Japanese have funny plans, and we are able to respond.
Okay, well, good luck to you. Japan. What's going on over here? You sure do have a lot of stuff in this game. It looks like you got some freebies thanks to the Vichy rolls and whatnot. Just walk us through that first turn, will you there? We got our old friend Hirohito back, and he's going to let us know what went on there.
We did nothing that you could not expect from the Japanese. We went further to China to liberate them from themselves.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like you got a lot of veteran troops here who are good at the warfare.
That is correct. And we were able to take 4 Chinese territories. And we took many prisoners. And we have placed them into a prisoner of war camp in Shandong.
Oh yes, because that increases your income for that area by 1, I believe.
That is correct.
Okay, but if it's taken back by the Chinese or anybody else, they could get some of their troops back and use them to attack you, right?
Ha 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 ha! This is not possible.
Okay. Well, we'll see how it goes here. The Chinese have quite a bit of stuff in there, but we're going to look down here. It looks like Saigon was a nice gimme, and you were able to take that nicely. You haven't gone into Siam yet. I guess you can't go until turn 2, right?
That is correct. That is why we have not gone in. There's only been 1 turn, not 2.
Okay, that's cool. French Indochina, though, had gone free French, and there was a couple of infantry in there, but it looks like you didn't have any trouble with them as well. Tons of naval support here. You got some bombards going on, and you got a very nice Air Force camped out on the airfield there. So you got some reach with some veteran planes and some bombers and whatnot. And what did you build this last turn?
We built factories and a power camp. So that is all our money right there.
All right, cool, nice to see. And well, I hope that works out for you. It looks like you moved some guys down here to the Marshalls, down from Japan. I can't help but notice that you're within striking distance of Hawaii here. Any comments on that?
We are within striking distance of Hawaii.
Okay, I guess I got an echo in here. You also still have your fleet here, plus you got that freebie coastal battleship and a cruiser and a destroyer, I believe, you got free from the the roles here in New Guinea. So good luck with that. Then we had the UK and Anzac do their turns. And since we're in the Pacific, we'll just carry on. Anzac, what did you do? Well, we have to save all money, eh, mate? So we just put all money away. Moved the guy over to Dutch New Guinea, eh? Now we're going to get an extra $5. Buy ourselves a didgeridoo, I figure. Okay. Hope you have fun with that. Japanese are looking pretty bad here, though, so you just you better be careful there. Oh, I am very careful. All right, good. India. India is looking pretty weak here. What's going on here, guys? Well, we are not really weak, but we don't have anything. Okay, that's kind of what we... Anyway, what'd you guys do this last turn? Well, we built a couple of men. Well, 3 men, because the rules state that the first 3 things we build have to be infantry. So we built many people, and we built 1 tank, and that took all of our money. But we also took our man from Hong Kong, and we sailed him around, and we landed in Sumatra. And so now we have an extra $4 to make many more people, and perhaps build a plane one of these days. You'd think we have a plane, but we do not have a plane. We are planeless. It is plain to see. Okay. Yeah, well, so far the Japanese have left you alone. You still hold Singapore and Hong Kong. No bonus for that, though, until you're at war. And I think once you're at war, Hong Kong is going to fall. Now there is a rule that we just wanted to hold on to here until this moment. It's called the Scorched Earth Rule in 1939. And what that means is at the end of your turn, you're able to destroy any facilities, factories, air bases, naval bases, anti-air gun. Basically anything that you've built can be destroyed by your own hand at the end of your turn. And so India is going to destroy these instead of giving them to the Japanese. Yes, we are. We think that is a very good idea. All right. And so those naval bases are gone. There's also 2 here in Madras, which may disappear, but right now they are not under threat from the Japanese, so there's really no need to do that. Down here, South Africa made a couple of pretty neat little moves. They can move at the same time as the UK and utilize UK material as though it's all on the same turn. So they had this transport on the other side. They just picked up one of the infantry and took Madagascar. Now the reason for that is that it was Vichy, which means it's pro-Axis. And so now they were able to just take that. So planes have a little tougher of a time coming down here and maybe sinking boats than they would have initially, because they could have just landed in Madagascar, being friendly territory. Another thing that went on was the British took Syria from Vichy. There was 1 Vichy troop there. Now Vichy troops do not attack, they only defend. They cannot move out and do anything. But the Free French, on the other hand, are able to. And, before I get going too far, pardon me, right here we have this destroyer and transport. And so the transport moved down 1, picked up a South African troop, and came over here and got Liberia for UK London. So UK London got an extra $1 for Liberia. Let's see, it's worth $1 there. Back to the Free French. They swept through Africa here and claimed all of this territory for UK London, and denied the Axis an easy landing spot for any planes that might want to come down and join in some sort of a battle. And so it's looking pretty good in Africa for the Allies right now. And so, the French, they did what they could. Not as much as, sometimes they'd like to. They also were able to take Reims back for the moment. And got a couple extra bucks, but that fellow is kind of doomed as well. As we say, Marseille is Vichy, and Vichy cannot attack. So they couldn't go over here and take Bordeaux or go try to liberate Reims. They only defend. The British. The British over here, well, what did you guys do in Britain? Nigel, what's going on there, buddy? Yes, quite. Well, we rescued our battleship that we had gotten from the Norwegians. Splendid chaps, those. And we brought it down here and joined it up with a couple of our destroyers. And we built one fighter and a couple of commandos, which can be dropped from the bombers, which will be something that the Krauts will have to look out for. So that'll be a splendid way of doing things. Our bombers, though, in the last round, decided to do a little bit of bombing run on Paris and got the maximum of 6. They roll 1d6 each, and they were able to take care of that very nicely. And, oh, pardon me, 2d6 each, but the max was 6. But there were no fighters there to intercept, and the anti-aircraft was fairly non-existent. So it was a fairly easy bombing run. I suspect that Jerry will be putting some fighters in Paris from now on in order to dissuade us from those bombing runs. Ja, und my name is Klaus, not Jerry. Yes, quite, yes. We also brought a submarine up from Gibraltar, and we sank the German transport, but then the Italians brought a whole bunch of submarines and destroyers, and they had they sank our submarine. But it was a good trade. We did not want a German transport in the Mediterranean at this time. That would be most disconcerting. Okay, and the Italians did some interesting things here, but oh, Britain, I noticed that the Italians here have a bunch of stuff on Crete. Now, why would that be? Yes, well, we had landed on Crete with a couple of infantry in order to deny the aircraft from Italy an easy landing space if they decided to come down and take out our fleet. We could not actually attack the Italians in the first round, as we were not at war on our turn, but on their turn they're able to declare war on us. So it's not exactly cricket, but there it is. Okay, I see. And I see that you retreated your fleet back here. Looks like you built a factory in Cairo and moved some troops around there. So we'll see if you guys can hold on. Italy? I see that your invasion of Yugoslavia didn't seem to go too well. You want to comment on that? We had too much fettuccine, too much spaghettini, and Benito Mussolini would not let us go in with everything we wanted to. We are rolling meatballs on them. He's not effective. Okay. Yeah. Try not to do that. I think maybe Bulgaria, or well, I guess Bulgaria can't yet. We haven't activated them, but Romania might have to come in and take care of Yugoslavia. Greece still remains. So that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Americans had a fun little turn. You can see that nothing got built in America here or on the other side of the map, and they did something called Lend-Lease, because in this game America is able to try to send money to the Allies to help their war effort, and they can send up to half their cash on hand to UK or Moscow. And so this last turn they decided to send to the UK, and then you roll a die, and the odds are that the money will get through, but you'll probably lose some of it. They have to roll on a d12. They have to roll an 11 or a 12 to have all the money go through. And they did. They actually rolled a 12. And so all the money made it through. And so they gave $10, because they start with 20, so not a lot. They gave $10 to the UK war effort, which I'm sure the British really appreciated. Yes, quite, yes. Enjoy your bases in the Caribbean now, eh? Well, we're just trying to help you all out there. This is Tex here, and we're just happy that we can help out our friends over there in the UK here. And, we lend them some money and some destroyers and whatnot, and we just hope they can help them hang on to things. The French there have already lost all their stuff, and, we figure that if the Brits can stay strong, then perhaps we can avoid having them Nazis, rolling all over everybody like they seem to be doing so far. Okay, and I know the French appreciate it.
Oh, we do, you could send some stuff to Africa, and we could, attack into to Italy, perhaps, or even back to Marseille, and we could, beat up these guys who are going Vichy, huh?
Yeah, I didn't understand any of that, but all right. That sound like a good time. All right, folks, that's pretty much the whole thing here. The last thing I'm going to talk about is Russia and America cannot enter the war until they've either been attacked. Russia is allowed to mess around in Finland. They can actually take all of Finland without instituting a war between them and Germany. But America has some strict rules they have to follow. They cannot leave their coastlines. Everywhere they go has to have an American coastline, and so they really don't have a lot of choices. And the stuff in the Philippines is, it's pretty much stuck in the Philippines. Oh, I think there's supposed to be a coastal gun on the Philippines. We're going to have to put one on there. But what they do in order to get into the war is they roll 2d12s, and then you add them together, and that's their economy boost, and that's what they will collect. And on the first roll, the USSR rolled an 11 on 2d12, so it's slightly below the minimum, or the medium, pardon me. And but they did collect $4 extra for the territories they took here. They took East Poland, they took the Baltics, and they took Vyborg there. And so the Americans actually rolled a 16, which is pretty good. Plus they got a $5 boost because the Germans attacked France, which kind of upset the Americans, but not too terribly much. There are some other bonuses, like if they attack any of UK proper, any of those 3 territories on the UK, if Germany assaults them, America goes up 25. Plus, if Japan attacks or declares war on any of the Far East Command or Anzac, they also get a boost of 25. And there's a couple of other things that'll happen that'll help the Americans get on, because they need to get up to 80 before they can get into the war. So right now they're at 21, and the Russians have to get to 48. As soon as they get to 48, they can declare war freely. Until then, they cannot leave their own borders, except again for Finland and Poland. The Americans can't do squat until they roll up to 80. Now, there are some house rules in place here and there where people will, if they roll under 10, then you roll a d6 and add that. Or if they roll under 10, you just add 5. Because sometimes we've had some pretty disastrous rolls with America where their isolationism really kicks in, and they roll like a 3 and a 5 and a 6 and a 4 with 2 d12s. And if that happens for 3 or 4 turns in a row, it is game over. This game really needs the Americans to hop in. So sometimes we just say turn 4 they're in, and sometimes we just add a little bit here and there to help speed things up. Because with some bad dice rolling, the game can just be decided by some bad rolls, and we don't want that happening. Like I said in an earlier video, there are hundreds and hundreds, if not over 1,000 dice being rolled in this game, and you don't want to keep the Americans, who are the economic powerhouse of the game, you don't want to keep them on the sidelines to allow Japan, which is obviously a monster, and Germany, with all of her allies to just run rampant. Okay, folks, that's the end of round one. I think I got all the high points here, and we will play up round two. It's going to go a lot faster on my end of things now because we don't have a lot of the politics and whatnot that we had to do in the first round. We don't have to don't worry about taking care of those right now. And Germany's got to position herself to head over to the east. Possibly. I don't want to tell Germany what to do. Yeah, and nobody tells Germany what to do. And if we want to go all the way to Moscow, we will go to Moscow. This is what we are going to do. But we may just say, it's so nice that we have all of these ships, that perhaps we want to, have some fun with the UK. And perhaps even over to Canada. That has happened before, yeah? Yeah, and if you're in Canada, things are not going well for the Allies. So hopefully we have a nice balanced few first rounds here, and things will carry on. Oh, the last thing I'll mention is that the UK, if they have the finances, they are able to build 3 units in India, which helps out India a lot. Now, right now, India has to start by building 3 infantry. After that, they have to build, or they can build up to 3 more units. No capital ships, same as the Anzac, until they're at war, and they upgrade the factories to major factories. Then they can build capital ships. Okay, folks. Sorry for all the little details that are just popping up here as I'm speaking. But once this game gets into the second and third and fourth round, everybody has found their footing, and you will definitely see a lot of action. All right, folks, thanks again for watching. Take care, and we will let you know what happens after Germany and Russia and Japan go on round 2. All right, take care. Bye.